Have you ever noticed the one person who is clearly struggling but still says, "I'm fine," with a smile that feels a little too sharp? The person who carries heavy bags alone, fixes every problem alone, and somehow makes needing support look like a weakness. If you know someone like that, or if that someone is you, stay with me. Because the psychology behind never asking for help is not simple pride. It is a whole survival strategy, built over years. People who never ask for help often look strong, independent, unshakable. But what you are really seeing is control, protection, a nervous system that learned one lesson early. Relying on people can cost you. And here is the twist. The more capable they look on the outside, the more complicated it can be on the inside. So let's decode it. Not to judge, not to label, but to understand. 1. They learned that help comes with a price. Some people grew up in environments where support was inconsistent. Maybe help was offered, then used as leverage later. Maybe it came with guilt. After everything I've done for you. Maybe it came with strings. Maybe it came with disappointment. When your brain experiences that pattern, it starts to connect two things that should not be connected: asking for help and danger. This is classical conditioning, but emotional. Your nervous system remembers the tone, the eye roll, the silence after you asked. So later, even when you are surrounded by decent people, your body reacts like it is still back there. Heart tight, chest heavy, voice stuck, and then a new belief forms. If I handle it alone, nobody can disappoint me. It is not stubbornness. It is self-protection. Psychologists call this an avoidant attachment style. People with avoidant tendencies often value independence so intensely because closeness once felt unreliable. So they learn to rely on themselves, and they do it so well that everyone thinks they are fine. But being fine is not the same as feeling safe. 2. They confuse independence with worthiness. Look closely at someone who never asks for help, and you might notice a hidden rule running their life. I must earn love by being useful. I must be strong to deserve respect. I must not be a burden. This is where perfectionism quietly joins the party. Perfectionism is not just wanting things neat. It is a coping mechanism. It says, if I do everything perfectly, nobody can criticize me. If I do not need anything, nobody can reject me. In psychology, this connects to something called conditional self-worth. Your value feels tied to performance, productivity, reliability, being the one who holds it all together. So asking for help feels like admitting you are not enough. And the scary part is that fear becomes addictive, because every time you push through alone, you get a quick hit of pride, a little rush of control. Your brain rewards it. That is reinforcement. But the bill arrives later, in burnout, in resentment, in loneliness that no one sees. 3. They have a high self-control bias, and it backfires. There is a cognitive bias, where people overestimate how much they should be able to manage on their own. It sounds like, other people can need support, but I should not. This is sometimes linked to the fundamental attribution error. You judge yourself by your intentions, but judge others by their situation. So if someone else asks for help, you think, they are overwhelmed. Makes sense. If you ask for help, you think, I am failing. People who never ask for help also tend to have high self-monitoring. They are hyper-aware of how they look, how they sound, how they might be perceived. So they avoid moments that make them feel exposed. Because asking for help is exposure. It shows you do not have it all handled. It shows you have limits. It shows you are human. And if you grew up in a world where being human got you shamed, you will do anything to avoid that spotlight. So you become the strong one, the fixer, the therapist friend, the reliable coworker, the person who always says yes. But inside, you are quietly keeping score. Not because you are selfish, because your needs never got a safe place to land. 4. They are carrying a hidden shame story. This is the part nobody talks about. Many people who never ask for help are not just independent. They are ashamed of needing anything. Shame is different from guilt. Guilt says, I did something wrong. Shame says, I am something wrong. So if your core story is, I am too much, or I am not enough, then asking for help feels like proof. Proof that you are messy, proof that you are weak, proof that people will finally see what you fear about yourself. And shame loves silence, so you stay silent. You smile. You handle it. You disappear when it gets too heavy. There is a reason some of the most high-functioning people struggle the most privately. High-functioning anxiety can look like success. It can look like competence, but under it, there is constant pressure to keep performing. And help would slow the performance down. Help would require honesty. So, they choose the familiar pain of carrying it alone over the uncertain risk of letting someone in. 5. They fear loss of control more than they fear exhaustion. For people who never ask for help, control is comfort. Not because they are controlling, but because control is predictable. It reduces anxiety. It keeps the world manageable. When you ask for help, you invite another person into the system. Another person might misunderstand, might do it differently, might see your mess, might say no, might leave. So you would rather do it yourself. This is connected to intolerance of uncertainty. The brain would rather choose a hard certainty than an easy unknown. So they choose the hard certainty. They choose exhaustion. They choose late nights. They choose doing everything the long way, just to avoid needing someone. And the irony is, they often resent the people around them for not offering help. But they also reject help when it is offered. Because accepting help means trusting. And trusting means giving up control. So what happens over time when you never ask for help? You build a life that depends on your constant strength. And that is a fragile foundation. You might start to feel detached, like nobody really knows you, because they know the capable version, not the tired version, not the scared version. You might feel anger when others lean on you, because it feels unfair. You give and give, but you cannot receive. You might also start to believe that relationships are about transactions. I help you, you like me. I struggle, you leave. And that belief becomes a filter. It makes you interpret neutral moments as threats. A late reply becomes rejection. A small criticism becomes proof. A simple boundary becomes abandonment. That is not because you are dramatic. It is because your nervous system is protecting you using old data. How to break the pattern without losing yourself? First, understand this. The ability to do everything alone is not a superpower. It is often a scar. Real strength is flexibility, knowing when to carry it and when to share it. So here are small shifts that work. Start with micro requests, not the biggest secret of your life. Something simple. Can you help me choose? Can you listen for 5 minutes? Can you check this? Your brain needs new evidence, evidence that support can be safe. Next, watch your inner language. If you call yourself a burden, you will act like one. Replace it with something true. I am a person with needs. Needs are allowed. Then notice who you trust. Not everyone deserves access. Asking for help is not handing your heart to strangers. It is choosing safe people and testing slowly. And finally, let people earn closeness. When someone shows up consistently, let that matter. Let it update your nervous system. Because the goal is not to become dependent. The goal is to stop being trapped. If you never ask for help, you are probably not cold. You are not selfish. You are not too proud. You are practiced. You learn to survive by being the one who handles it, the one who does not need, the one who keeps going. But you do not have to keep proving your strength by suffering in silence. The next time you feel that tightness in your chest when you want to reach out, pause. That feeling is not weakness. It is your old self trying to keep you safe, and you can thank it and still choose something new. Because asking for help is not saying, I cannot do it. It is saying, I do not want to do it alone. If this hit a little too close, you are not the only one. Share this with someone who always says they are fine. And if you want more videos decoding quiet human behavior, you know what to do. Subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.